it will at last be judged thoroughly fit for public service in London. The revolutionary design of the Routemaster ensures that it is not only safer and easier to drive than the older buses, but also more comfortable to ride in.
Demanding standards were set for new buses. The tilt test result delighted the designers.
Oh, she passed that with flying colours. There was no problem whatsoever. Went way over the figure, and it pleased us no end.
So in addition to day-to-day care in the garage, after 3.5 to 4 years on the road, every standard bus of the 8,000 in the world's largest unified bus fleet comes into the largest public service vehicle overhaul factory in the world, Aldenham. A greater initial cost, but a more efficient and, in the long run, more economical way of carrying the load into the future.
Convinced that their monopoly would last forever, London Transport had created a vast service centre in anticipation of expanding its fleet.
First, it loses its identity. It's rotated like a toy on this inverter. 3.5 years' accumulation of oil-bound road dirt is pressure-hosed away. Everything must be progressing continuously towards the reassembly.
The Routemaster was built with Aldenham in mind. In the 50s, the labour shortage made attractive working conditions a high priority.
A job to be done and a man to do it. Again, a principle in practice. First, bring him into a suitable space to perform his task. Next, provide him with every possible mobility. Offer him a fair incentive, and you can reasonably expect that everyone, the man, the works, the bus concern, and the public, will get the benefit of a good, fast job.
At the time, our chairman wanted to advertise the bus, and on the prototypes he put, "This is the bus of the future." We thought we could do it quietly. We didn't want to make a big show of the thing because we knew that something would go wrong.
But the biggest problem was for crews, who had to adjust to the modern lightweight design.
Well, it was a bit of a sensation. They only gave us an hour to get used to it. And on our first trip up into Crystal Palace, as we rounded the roundabout into the first stop, I found that the so light on the front wheels that when I applied the brake, it skidded. And it frightened the life out of me, I must admit. It frightened the passengers waiting at the stop as well.
I know when I was first in London and the Routemasters were all new, you know, we all knew that it had been specially designed for London, and it was obviously so good for its work. We used to travel on those lovely long routes right across London, and you could look at, I mean, I always used to try and get the front seat on the top deck on the 73. It was absolutely super. We used to go from Oxford Circus to the Albert Hall for the proms every night after night.
It was 1959 before the RM went into full production. Over 2,700 were built during the 1960s. On the streets, they were a hit. Buses were travelling 20 million miles a year. It was a tribute to British craftsmanship. Suppliers were proud of their association with the Routemaster.
Everything's pip-hip and tickety-boo in San Francisco. For it's London Week, don't you know? And a double-decker bus hobnobs with the cable cars. The Union Jack flies.
But back home, the London bus had a competitor, the car. In the 50s, the car population in London had tripled, slowing traffic to speeds little faster than the horse bus era. But planners made the car's needs a priority.
Revolutionary new measures are announced to cope with London's parking problem. And this is one of them, the 2-hour parking meter. It's no good smiling sweetly at a police constable. These things are glamour-proof and quite infallible. And both the time and the charge can be adjusted, not of course by the motorist, according to local circumstances. In fact, the darn things just aren't human.
Despite the publicity, by the mid-60s, London buses were losing £5 million a year. When cuts were made, bus crews made their feelings known in the traditional British way.
Here's a picture of 8,400 buses not being there, and that's quite something. For it's 21 years since London's buses were completely stopped by an official strike. So London walks to work.
New economies meant revolutionary new designs which threatened the RM.
London's always had double-decker buses with engine at the front and entrance at the rear. Now these conventional buses are being compared with a design that reverses the familiar pattern with engine at the rear, entrance at the front. The 72-seater Atlantean gives more passenger space. That's obviously an advantage.
It was a radical new layout where the driver could collect the fares and make the conductor redundant.
It's the driver who operates the front entrance door. At least one passenger was distinctly puzzled by the whole thing.
London Transport bought time by stretching the RM 3 feet and adding 8 more seats, but it was not enough.
When we saw that one-person operation was going to come in elsewhere, we did produce the rear-engine Routemaster, which was capable of one-man operation and utilised 60% of common parts of the basic Routemaster design.
Curtis and his team swapped the Routemaster around for one-person operation, but it was too late. By the late 60s, London Transport were buying driver-only buses off the peg. Plans were laid down for phasing out Routemasters and their conductors.
As you can see, I'm an elderly party with a shopping trolley, and a lot of my journeys are for shopping. Well, the conductor gives lots of reassurance, and some of them crack lovely jokes and give you a bit of enjoyment on your journey as well.
Work-wise, I'm actually a fashion model based mainly in London, and the buses for me are great for work, great for getting around. The good thing about the old buses is they've got no doors, so you can hop on and off in between, like the stops, which you're not supposed to do, but it's great. Handy if you're in a rush to get to an appointment or a taxi.
Well, to be helpful to people, you know, to be helpful and to help the old people and the women and children getting on the bus and to help call out places of interest. Right. Now, this is John Lewis. Anybody want to stop John Lewis? We're going to, this is as far as we go now, please.
They know all about London. They know to point you in the right direction. And just they're friendly, you know, safer, especially for a woman, I think, isn't a conductor on hand at all times.
Peter Newman runs a fleet of driver-only sightseeing buses in London.
Well, of course, the myth of the open platform is only strange to London. London Transport say that they have to keep the Routemaster on the streets of London because the open platform is popular. Well, of course, the open platform is popular. Lots of people get on and off between stops. The problem is the people that get on between stops don't pay. One-person operation, as far as a driver is concerned, is better too, because it allows him to talk to people and to see people. The engine's at the rear, so he has a much quieter environment, and of course he hasn't got that confounded bell going in his ear all day long.
Because I do not like one-man operated buses. I just don't like them. My daughter works on them, and she says she likes them, but in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, I don't think they're paid enough. That is one reason why I don't do them.